City rail fans. You've tuned in to the Iron City Roundhouse Report, the podcast where we delve into the fascinating world of locomotives, rolling stock, and the rich history and current state of railroading. I'll be one of your hosts. My name's Brad Williamson, and our other host is my good friend Patrick Moore. And whether you're a seasoned model railroader, a history buff, or just someone who loves the sound of a passing train, you're in the right place. We're proudly affiliated with the Altoona N Scale Facebook group, but don't let the name fool you. We cover all scales from Z to G and everything in between. We'll be exploring the vibrant railroading scene of western and central Pennsylvania, from the mighty steel giants of the past to the intricate layouts of today. Expect in-depth discussions, interviews with experts, and plenty of stories from the rails. So grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and enjoy the Roundhouse Report, a podcast of Iron City, by Iron City, and for Iron City. Hello there, Iron City, and welcome to another edition of the Iron City Roundhouse Report. This evening, we've got a special show for you. We're calling this show the Altoona N Scale Weekend Preview Show, and we'll be dealing with some of the awesome stuff that we are very happy and very fortunate to get to do during what's one of our favorite events of the entire calendar year at that Altoona N Scale Weekend, which happens every year. Just a great mecca for N Scalers and outstanding place to go. So I will now turn it over to Pat, and we can get things started here.
All right, everybody. Hey, good to hear from everybody on the show, and we love the great feedback we're having. So we decided to do a special Altoona N Scale Weekend preview show. And okay, Brad, we have some special guests this evening. We got Tim Mallon from the Mike Phillips Altoona N Scale Weekend, and we have Alex Lane from Station N. And that's where we're going to be staying over the weekend. So it's a two-part, and we have two different interviews. And Kevin Squire is here this evening to help us with that. Hey, Kevin, how you doing this evening?
Good, Pat. I'm doing well, thank you, and thanks for having me on board today.
And so, Brad, like we always do, are you ready to go into the Roundhouse Report?
Absolutely ready, yes. Who would you like to go first?
Okay, Brad, how about you go first?
Okay, I'll do that. The post that I wanted to highlight this week was from our good friend from New England, Fran Resch. Was fortunate enough to participate in what looked like a really cool event at the Union Station in Springfield, Massachusetts. It's organized by the Amherst Railway Society, and it was called Kids on Track event. And it looked like they had looks like it's a T-track layout set up, and apparently was something which is for kids, which is always an important thing for us here at Iron City. We like to get as many young people involved as we can when we have our layout set up. So it looks like our good friend Fran and the organizers of that event did a nice job, putting on something for. Just called it Kids on Track. So it looked like a really cool event. And thank you to Fran for posting the information and some photos and videos of that event. So that was mine for the Roundhouse Report.
Oh, that's a good one. That was a real good one. So I've got one this evening, and I have it's called Matt Schultz. And Matt is doing the Allegheny Valley Express. And we are always, Brad and Kevin, we always talk about how we love to see new layouts, and so we got a new layout here. He just did his track painting, and it looks pretty good. It's got really good, looks like details, and it looks like he's using Kato and just doing the air spray or the paint on here, airbrush. He says he's never used an airbrush before, so it looks fantastic. Looks like he's got one or two, three, four, or five switches that he's going to be using. Looks like he has a little bit of elevation, and so we see a layout started and before our eyes, and I love to see these get started and the details as they come about. So Matt, keep posting. We appreciate your post, and you did a great job with that airbrush, buddy. So that's mine for this fight. So how about Kevin? What do you got for us this evening?
Thanks, Pat. That was a great one. I like seeing them this time of year when we all kind of stop building and go outside for a little while. It's nice to know that somebody's still working on their layout. So that was a really good post to see. Um, for me, I saw the other day a fellow that looks like he's only been with us maybe for about a year or so on the group here, Brian Bankley. His question that he posted, and I thought it would be a great one for today's post or for today's podcast as well. And Brian asked about if you're going to the N Scale weekend, do you stay for both days, or is one day enough to go through it? And there was lots of great answers there. I definitely would encourage people to kind of read through those a little bit. But if I had answered, I would probably say you can get through the showgrounds itself in a day. You can kind of get through the vendors and everything, especially if you stay focused and don't talk too much to everyone around. But being that it's up there in Altoona, there's so much to do just around Altoona with the Station Inn and the Altoona modeling their clubhouse and the museum and Horseshoe Curve, and it's kind of worth going 2 days just to go up since you're going to be in the neighborhood anyway. It might be a one day for the show itself, but it's really worth the 2 days at least to hang out and come join us for a little while on the front porch as well, which I know we'll talk about later.
So, Kevin, I think people don't realize that when you're part of the Iron City, that you're allowed to be operate on our layout. And so, if you drop a train on there, or if you just want to watch, it's part of that. So, Brad, Brad knows all about that. Brad, why don't you tell them a little about operating on our layout?
Yeah, we have it set up so you can put a train on. We always have a DC loop and usually multiple DCC loops, so we can accommodate whatever kind of train you would like to bring. We have throttles. Some people bring throttles, but most of the guys at our shows just use either the Engine Driver app if you have an Android phone, or the WeThrottle app if you have an iPhone, and we can get you connected wireless, and you can run a train just from your phone if you want to. So yeah, all are welcome, and we'll if you have a train you want to run, we'll find a spot to get you in there.
And Brad, tell them how much it costs to run the trains this weekend.
In previous years, well, this year we decided to up the charge by 15%. So if you take 15% of zero, that's how much it costs.
Yeah,
yeah,
there is no dues, there's no fees. Brad's right; it is free. So don't hesitate to. Well, I didn't. I'm not part of the club, or I haven't paid anything, or I haven't added anything to the T track. That's not us. Come run a train, see what it's like. Get that throttle in your hand, and instead of a 1 day or 2 day visit, you'll be like, well, I have to be operational for a day with the Iron City. I've got to go and do all the events around Altoona, and I've got to be at the show. So a week later, you come out of there. So
I think Tim would kick us out sooner than a week. But
So, guys, we will be right back with our special guest. Our first guest tonight is Tim Mallon with the Mike Phillips Altoona N Scale weekend, and we'll be right back with that interview. Hey, welcome back to the Roundhouse Report. We're really excited to do a special show this evening. It's called our Altoona Preview Show, and I'm going to pass it over to Brad, and he's going to talk to you about our co-host this evening.
Yeah, we've got two special people with us tonight. One of them, we had our first special co-host who joined you and I as the regular co-host last time when we did our Iron City Historian podcast with Richard Shirey. We have another special co-host, and this one is just really special in every sense of the word. We have our good friend and Iron City member and our Iron City layout planner here with us tonight, Kevin Squire. So welcome, Kevin. It's great to have you here again. Kevin has been on with us before. He did a Yardmaster segment with us previously, but he's here since he is such an integral part of what we do at the show. He designs our entire T-track layout for us, what modules get snapped to which ones. So we thought it would be good to have Kevin with us tonight, co-hosting. So welcome, Kevin. It's great to have you here again.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. This is actually my third time around on the show. Actually, I'm trying to remember. Oh, the OGs. That was
The OGs.
Oh, that's right. How could I forget that? Yeah.
That's all right. That's all right. And then today we have our real special guest. I'm just here to fill in some filler, but our real special guest today is Tim Gallon. Excuse me.
Mallon.
It's Mallon. Excuse me. See, I did it right. Tim Mallon from Altoona's Model Railroad Club. I'll throw it over to you, Tim.
Yeah, hey, thanks for the warm welcome, guys. Thanks for inviting me. Happy to be here. And Kevin, I don't know if I can live up to that build-up, but your build-up was pretty wild as well. So we'll see if we can't hold mustard here for the group. But no, I was just going to say, I'm a member of the Altoona Association of Model Railroaders here in Altoona, Pennsylvania. It's a multi-scale club, but my personal scale is N Scale, has been for many years. And I don't know if you want to call it, I'm fortunate enough to be the chair of N Scale Weekend, but I do kind of do some of the setup and organization, but I have a great team that I work with to make that happen. I don't do it by myself. I don't think anyone could.
And for those who may be listening who have never experienced this weekend, let's just say it is one of the two biggest dates that we always circle on our Iron City N Scale calendar. The Altoona N Scale weekend, the show organizers just do a fantastic job with getting layouts there on display for people to look at, and then just a great collection of N Scale vendors. So it's a must do for an N Scaler, at least on the East Coast anyway. But you guys on the West Coast, if you're ever in here for it, definitely worth a trip to Altoona. Usually around the third weekend in September. If you can make it, it's definitely worth it. So thanks, Tim, so much for being here, and we'll see where this podcast goes. Pat, let's back to you.
So Tim, we have just a few questions for you this evening, and we can go in any direction you want to with these questions.
Well, it's your show, so I'll follow your lead.
Okay, so the first one we have is what it actually is Altoona N Scale Weekend, and what is really the purpose of the show?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Altoona N Scale Weekend, my club got involved in the show. This will be, I think, our fourth year. We got involved with the show. A local hobbyist named Mike Phillips originated the show in a small town of Bedford, Pennsylvania, where he is born and raised. He was just an avid N Scaler, had a small group of friends, started off, I think, in a small gymnasium, had maybe 2 or 3 layouts, a couple of vendors. And it was just a way for N Scale people to get together and have a good time with each other. He grew the show pretty immensely, moved it a few times because it got bigger. Now we're filling up the bottom floor of the Blair County Convention Center. And it's, I think we're in our 21st, 22nd year. And we're just thrilled to be a part of it. In fact, the official name of the show is the Mike Phillips N Scale Weekend. And that's just to pay homage to Mike. He recently passed away, about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago now, but it feels more recent than that. So we renamed the show in his honor as the founder, and we're just thrilled to be a part of it. It's roughly 24,000 square feet. And what I love about the show is it is an N Scale show. You're not going to see, and if you do, I yell at the vendors, but you're not going to see HO stuff. You're not going to see O scale. You're going to see N Scale, all weekend, all day, all the time. I do let a little Z scale slide by now and again, fellas, and that's because somebody tries to convince me of forced perspective. The Disneyland trick. Well, we put the Z scale up on top of the mountain, so it's forced perspective. I'm like, all right, I'll buy into that, but you don't see a lot of Z scale there either. The wonderful thing about it is it's a niche show. It's growing. We had about 1,000 people last year. This year, we're expecting around the same. We're going to have I'm going to say 45 vendors, give or take. We actually have a waiting list. We could have up to 60 vendors if we wanted.
Man.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's really a great problem to have. I just don't know of anywhere bigger than the convention center in little old Altoona, Blair County, Pennsylvania. I think we have 12 layouts set up.
Oh, wow.
And, and that ranges from, your guys' layout. We have people coming from Harrisburg, Virginia, just all over the East Coast. The show has really grown. We're actually seeing more of your larger vendors wanting to come. Atlas is coming again this year.
Excellent.
A couple of more manufacturers are trying to sign up. We're working on Kato, and I learned how to say that when I went to Esther's hobby shop.
That's right.
You guys know, I always thought it was Kato, and man, he jumped on me right away. He said, no, it's Kato. I met him.
I was just out there by that shop today.
Yeah.
This morning. Yeah.
That's funny because he will. Yeah, they down there. They're like, nope, say it right.
Yeah, I was like, okay, man. I mean, it looked like Kato to me.
Yeah, right.
But it's the Japanese. It's the Japanese man's last name, so
Right.
it makes sense once you think about it. But yeah, I agree 100%. It looks like a long.
Hey, man, it's the dude's name. I'll call him wherever he wants.
Yeah, right.
You continue to make high quality locomotives like that. I'll refer to you however you want to be referred to.
King of N Scale, whatever you want.
You bet.
So Tim, we talked about the weekend, and you mentioned a little bit what makes it so special with the N scale perspective and really driving N scale. When they first started and Philip was first developing this, do you think there was a void in that, and they wanted to do some N scale shows because other shows weren't doing that, or was just a good time and place?
Yeah, no, I think so, because what we had seen, you go to an all scale show, it's going to be, I don't know, 80% HO, 20% three rail, maybe a little bit of a mix there. And, somebody might throw some N scale in here and there. Now N scale is growing,
Right.
so it's becoming a larger part of those type of shows. But, what I love about this is look, we're not messing around. We're being a little selfish. We're celebrating N scale. We're celebrating all the things you can do with N scale. I mean, you can't lug O scale layouts around. T-track, perfect for a beginner to come into N scale. And then you've got the modules, the other guys that I forget the standard name. Sorry.
N-track.
N-track. Thank you. So you got the N-track folks that come in. But boy, those T-track modules some of them are just beautiful models of their own. Other ones are whimsical and fun. I just think they're fun to look at, fun to play with, and I don't care what anybody says. I call it playing with trains, guys, because
At the end of the day, that's all we're doing.
Right.
Yeah. And I like to keep it that way, man. I take the hobby seriously. I take the show seriously. I try not to take myself seriously.
Right.
I try to just remember, look, man, I'm doing this hobby for fun. I'm just trying to have a good time and some camaraderie with some folks. So that's what I really like about it. The show has kind of the participants that have returned year over year. You start to build a relationship, a little bit of a bond with them. You've got that N scale thing in common. You're going to see each other at the show unless something weird is going on. And, the only problem we have with the show is scheduling. Yeah, it's about Penn State football, man. We couldn't afford a hotel if it was Penn State football weekend.
Right.
Fortunately, Penn State has a total bye on the 20th of September. That's when the show opens. And then will also be Sunday, the 21st. The show opens 9 to 5 on Saturday, 9 to 3 on Sunday.
So we don't even have to worry about missing the game this year. That's fantastic.
Yeah, no, it worked out pretty well. Still trying to finalize. Penn State doesn't put me very high on their list of people that they care about when their games are.
Right.
They should, but yeah,
Well, I mean, I graduated from there. You think they'd pay some respect?
you would hope, yeah.
I know, like you guys have that problem. I think you guys have that problem that another organization I belong with is similar. Like they're up in Clearfield, which is not too far away, but it's close enough to Penn State. They bump into the same problem. So whenever they're planning their events, sometimes all they can tell you is it's either weekend A or weekend B, and then they got to wait for the game to come or the schedule to come out. That's what you guys have to do too? I take it.
Oh, absolutely. We dare not schedule it on a home weekend.
Right.
Absolutely insane. The vendors were getting on me about that. A couple of them. They're like, "Don't worry about the Penn State game." And I was like, "I don't think you understand. A hotel in Altoona
Yeah.
is like $400 a night on a Penn State weekend if you can get one."
Right. Yeah. So you guys.
Now I can host a few people at my house, but that's a pretty big show, fellas.
So Tim, we talked a little bit about, you kind of mentioned Atlas is coming this year. Can you give us some other vendors that normally come and what they bring to the show?
Yeah, boy, wasn't quite ready for that. There's so many of them, and I'm drowning in it right now.
And Microtrains has shown up in the past. I assume they're coming back.
Microtrains is coming.
Is Spring Creek coming?
Spring Creek's coming back. Boston, Albany.
Spring Creek is coming all the way from Nebraska. That's
Spring Creek is coming. Yep.
Yeah,
you know who else is coming? Lombard Hobbies.
Oh, wow.
They contacted me this year and said, "Hey, man, we're starting to hear about the show." I was like, "Holy moly!"
That's great.
I just drew a blank on another one of the train. I got a T-shirt from them last year. Now I'm drawing a blank on who they are.
The
Trains PA.
What's that?
Trains PA. Yankee Dabbler's going to be here.
No.
Oh yeah, you have the guy that does all the T-shirts and hats and everything.
The website Model Train Stuff? No, not Model Train Stuff. Model Train Market. I think that's it. No, maybe not. I don't know.
Mohawk Design does the T-shirts.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that was the guy. He had everything you could think of. Yeah.
He's
Kevin. Go ahead.
Like the only non-hobby. He's more of a railroadiana vendor.
Yeah.
But he makes our T-shirts for the show. And frankly, he buys 10 tables, so kind of bend the rules there a little bit, fellas.
We won't tell anybody.
I appreciate it.
I'm sure if we dig deep enough in the stack, he's probably got some N Scale T-shirts in there. So
he better.
So Tim, another thing I wanted to get out in public right now, and it happened last year, and we just want to make sure you're on the record. Iron City N Scale did not bribe you to win all those door prizes. We just want to make sure that's very clear. We just had a lot of people register.
Well, that's the difference. You bring more people, you get a bigger chance to win. And we love you guys for that. And we look forward to seeing you guys. I can't play favorites here because this is a public forum.
Sure.
But love having you guys. Hey, you know who else is coming this year? Didn't make it last year. DJ's Trains. You guys follow his?
We know DJ very well.
Yeah.
I thought so. Maybe he's a great dude. He kind of left the hobby for a little bit. He's coming back into it, starting to do some videos, and he's doing some modeling. So he's going to be selling some stuff that he's scratch building or rebuilding. So
he is.
He might take a video or two too, man. I'm sure a fun guy to be around.
He's one of the best N scale scratch builders that I think I've ever seen. He's very good.
I know. I'm going to invite him out to the club, and I got a spot that's looking for. I'll put a big DJ's Train sign on there for him. I need some buildings done.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were lucky enough when you set us up at the second time around right there at the front door. So we were able to set up right next to him for that particular event, right? So for many of our guys who hadn't had a chance to meet him, I was lucky enough that I'd met him a couple times here in Monroeville. But so everybody kind of got to meet him that time around. That was nice.
Yeah. I just think he's a cool dude, and I appreciate him coming. And
I'm sure he's blushing out there, when he gets to listen to this. But yeah, I agree 100%. He's a good fella.
Yep. Well, that's cool. But yeah, I mean, we're thrilled about the show. We'd love to. We're going to do everything we can to keep it going. Not that it's in danger of not. I don't want to put any rumors out there. I mean, it's a strong show. We have strong support. We have great participants like you guys, and I love what you guys do. You make a full weekend of it, and
Oh,
where
yeah.
else can you do that? You come to Altoona, you've got train history all over the place. You've got Norfolk Southern / Union Pacific, I guess, soon.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So,
Sounds like it's going to be.
Well,
It sounds like it's going to be Norfolk Southern / Union Pacific without the Norfolk Southern /
yeah, I think that's probably right. Hey, man, as long as we still have trains running through here, I'll be pretty happy, and hopefully everybody gets to keep their jobs.
Yeah, that's the big thing for sure.
That's concerning, but I'm hopeful.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was,
But, I mean, we got the Railroad Museum. We got Horseshoe Curve you can visit. You can stay right on the main line out where you guys are. I don't want to give it away because I don't know if you're like making that public.
no,
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's we always stay at the station, and that's our we call it the new Altoona weekend headquarters for Iron City. So, and we'll be
That's awesome. Well, I didn't want to out you and then have all of your fans in droves.
It's sometimes difficult to keep all the groupies and fans away.
Right.
Right.
Somehow we manage.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be the man on the microphone at the show again this year, so I'll make some announcement that there's a big party. Kegger on the porch at the station.
So Tim, I didn't know if you noticed last year, and I know that we're working with the organizers to have a kind of a little bit more space this year with someone moving on and us trying to fill that void. But the T track, the way it works, have you ever seen so many guys running a layout in your life? Like we ran, I think it was 7 trains per hour for the whole entire time we were there. So it was at least 4 or 5 guys running trains, and they were rotating. And I was like, we were pretty proud of that. I don't know if you got to see any of that, or
I did get to see it. I try to stop by and see everybody, but I get a little distracted trying to do the logistics of the show. So unfortunately, I don't get to. I do enjoy the show. Don't get me wrong, but I don't get to enjoy it as a participant as much because I'm doing the announcements and the running around and the problem solving. But I do that as a labor of love. I absolutely love doing it. So don't take it as a complaint. But yes, you guys, your table in particular was humming. And I think you were set up, one of the first setup, and you started running on setup day, and I don't think you stopped till teardown.
No, we don't stop until the whistle blows.
It's always one of the goals.
Saying time to go home, boys.
Yeah.
Hey, Brad, this is a time where we get to say that we're the best electrical crew, right?
Yeah, because we always have the layout running for the beginning of the show, right?
That's right.
Yeah, we had some issues,
All right.
I think it's cool because you guys are in a club and you kind of know each other, you know what you're doing. There's another T-track module that we set up that is come one, come all. So
the
you don't
combined
know,
layout, which is really awesome. Yeah.
I think it's cool.
And it's a lot harder. It's a lot harder to wire something like that than it is.
That's right.
We have, we know who's bringing what usually, and know what and know where each thing goes and which modules work well together. But yeah, they take from several different clubs, and it just makes for Dave Ferrari. We should give him a shout out. He just does an outstanding job. He sure is. He does a great job organizing that. And it was, before we started on our own, it was always a lot of fun to participate, with him and his crew in that. So yeah, big shout out to those guys. They always have an outstanding layout there too, and it's just an awesome thing that they are able to bring all those different folks together and have a nice, coherent, good running layout out of it.
Yeah, it's a pretty impressive feat. A lot goes into that, and the same with the nerves have got me here a little bit, boys.
I'm gonna guess the Fremo guys, right?
Fremont, yeah, the Fremo guys.
The Fremo N, yep, yeah, that's always really impressive too, ain't it?
That's a lot of coordination to get that done, but it's a beautiful sight to see.
And you figure those things aren't like Lego blocks; those things are unique each piece, right? Like,
oh yeah, yeah. I wouldn't want to be the setup guy, but those guys love it. And I think those are just the unique things that you can do in N scale that you don't see happening with the other scales. And
Certainly not on the same level. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no, right.
It would be really hard to do a free mo I imagine.
Oh,
That
yeah.
would start to take up a lot of space real fast.
Oh yeah. That's
So-
if you can even transport it to where you're going.
That's the trick. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I love about T-Track. You throw that in your back seat, you're good to go.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
You guys are probably way more careful with yours though. Wrap it up. But hey, listen,
have you seen how Brad packs his?
I haven't, but I do hope you guys will get some more participation. I know you did last year too in the best module contest.
Yeah, Kevin, why don't you tell them a little bit about that as we're wrapping up
well,
for this evening?
Let me. So we're gonna. I know Tim there was first addressing the best module contest, and I know you started that. You guys started that as a show wide event or contest, I guess you would say.
Yep.
What was that, about 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It
you
was
guys started
second year of
yours
the show.
at the exact same time we were starting ours. So yeah. So yeah, it's and that's a contest that is public. Like everybody gets a vote. You know,
The
when you come
public,
in the
if you
door,
paid if you paid admission to the show, you get a vote, and then we give you a little plaque that you can put on your module if you choose to.
Yep.
And then we also have a plaque at the club where we have everybody that's won it over the past, well, now it's only 3 years, but
Right.
eventually it'll be 20, 25 years, hopefully.
And then that particular contest is open to every module there. So it doesn't have to be just a T-Track module. It can be a T-Track.
It could be anything.
Right. And there's
Yep.
no limitations on it. I know the first year was Fran with his Mary, the Union Railroad
Contrary Mary.
Contrary Mary scene. Was that
Yeah.
first year that he won that first one? Yeah. That was an amazing module.
It really was. You know what? You guys had a great one though too with the incline, the Pittsburgh incline.
Yeah. Oh, I forget if did he get first places last year or did he get like second or something with that, I think.
It was second. He was close in running.
Okay.
I hope he signs up again. But I think what you guys do, and you wrap that program into a way to give back to the community, is something really special.
Well, thank you, Tim. That's so Tim is alluding to our T-Track contest that we do, contest / fundraiser, where you can sign up and it's a single module. We do limit you to a single module for the contest, and it has to be a new one. In other words, it just has to be built within since May is our kind of honorary. You know, if you made it in April, I don't think anyone's gonna call your bluff. But yeah, so then as you're there, what we do is instead of having a single vote for everyone who comes in the door, we just have kind of like a little piggy bank for each module that's in the contest. And people can make a donation on behalf of their favorite module. And then all of the money that we collect goes to the ASPCA in honor of Mr. Phillips for his, because that was his, from what I understand, that was his kind of secondary love was
for
trains
sure.
and animals, right?
Yep.
So yeah, last year, our first year, we were able to raise $230, and then this last year we were able to raise $338. So
That's amazing.
This is our third year, so let's hope that we can at least get $350. That's what I'm shooting for. And anyone who wants to join that contest, we'll make sure that links go out along with this particular show.
Well, I think that's fantastic. I know the SPCA appreciates it. I know Mike would appreciate it. And I'll tell you, it's special to me. I appreciate you guys doing that. That's the stuff that makes N Scalers unique. I don't see that other places, and I appreciate that.
No, we're really glad to do it. And it makes a little bit of fun added to, hey, I have 3 pets, and I don't know if you guys heard when we first started, I had to unplug the doggy doorbell. So yeah,
and while we're talking appreciation, Tim, we greatly appreciate all the work you put into making what is definitely one of our very favorite events every year. It's always just great to come there, and I am hard pressed to come up with any show I've ever been to that has more N scale. So the only one that might is the big Springfield show, the Amherst show up in Springfield, but that's an all scale show.
Yeah, and that's a horse of a different color up there.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, as far as just the amount of N scale, I gotta say that the Altoona N scale weekend is at least in the same ballpark with them. I mean, of course
I take that as a great compliment, and I thank you for saying what you said, but I absolutely love doing it. I get a little trained out about October. But I get back into the game for November and the holidays at Christmas, and we're right back at it. I do love it. It's a labor of love. And, again, the show is going to be the 20th and 21st of September here in Blair County at the Altoona Blair County Convention Center. Would love to have you. If you're in the area within a 3-hour drive, I can guarantee if you're an N scaler, totally worth the trip. Even if we'll do a day trip.
You will not be disappointed.
No.
That is a guarantee.
Hey, and Tim hasn't plugged it too much, so I'm gonna kind of blow his horn, I guess, as they say, right? Isn't that it? But I know you guys also tend to have the clubhouse open, right?
Oh, absolutely. We love it. It's
so
kind of like a party at the club.
And each evening, what is it, Friday and Saturday evening, you can go over there. They have open house. I have not been in a lot of different, clubhouses, but I got to say that the Altoona one is definitely high up on that list, man. It's a really nice club you guys have there. Beautiful layout. I love the 2 floors, man. It's just, it's a really, really nice club. So spend some time out there or include that on your list of things to do while you're out there.
Oh, we'd love you to. And the railroad memorabilia, the builder's plates upstairs, the N scale layout downstairs.
That blew me away when I walked in upstairs. Just I wasn't even looking at the layout for the first probably 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, that builder plate wall is probably worth more than the building and concept design. But we didn't think that, in the 1950s when we were stealing that. I mean, acquiring,
procuring.
So, guys, as we're wrapping up here, can I have Tim? Can you give us the website and the time and date one more time? And then Kevin, if you could follow up with your contest, the email site, and we'll say good night to you guys. Really appreciate you being on tonight.
That sounds great. So thanks again for having me. It's N Scale Weekend. It's going to be September 20th and 21st at the Blair County Convention Center. 9 to 5 Saturday, 9 to 3 Sunday, plus the extra hours over at our club. And the website is theaamr.org. So theaamr.org. Just click on the N Scale Weekend. It'll give you all of the information. You'll be able to register early if you want to do that and, buy a t-shirt or whatever. And we're just looking forward to it. Thanks for having me, guys. I really, really appreciate it. It was a fun time.
Thank you for being here. We enjoyed it greatly, too, and look forward to seeing you at the show and look forward to seeing as many of our listeners who are hearing our voices right now also at the show. Stop by and see us. And so thank you very much, Tim, and thank you, Kevin, for helping us co-host on this. And we'll throw it back over to Pat to close things out here.
All right, Kevin, if you can give us that email address real quick for our contest, and then we'll call it evening.
We don't have an email address, but you can reach out to me through the Facebook page or the Iron City Wiki, I should say the N Scale Wiki, T-Track Wiki, and we can touch base there. I'll make sure the links are actually put in our show notes and things like that.
Okay. Hey, thanks again, everybody, for being on, and we'll be right back with our second guest right after this. Hey, we're back with part 2 of our Altoona weekend and another special guest. I'll pass over to Brad so he can introduce him.
Yeah, thank you, Pat. We're delighted tonight to have, as Pat mentioned, a special guest. We have Alex Lang with us tonight. He is the co-owner and proprietor of the Station Inn in Cresson, Pennsylvania. And we're going to talk to Alex about what a interesting railfan destination he has acquired there, and some of the improvements and just some of the things that you can do and while you're there, and what makes it, in my opinion, one of the best rail fanning destinations on the entire East Coast of the United States, if not the entire United States. Just a fantastic place to visit. And I was fortunate enough to have just been there within the last week. Well, it'll be more than a week by the time this airs, but it's been within a week of the time we're recording this. So, Alex, welcome, and thank you for being here. We appreciate you spending some time with us.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody.
And we just want to make sure everyone knows that the Station N is the official inn of the Iron City N Scale, and it is our
For one weekend, at least.
for
right?
one weekend, and it's our national headquarters for the Altoona N Scale weekend. So we are so happy to be at the Station Inn, and so glad that you guys have always helped us acquire the rooms there. And as our bumbling guys from around the country come in and really enjoy the weekend. And I tell you, Alex, last year was my first year ever there, and you couldn't peel me off that porch the first night. I was just so excited to be there, and I had no idea the fun I would have watching trains and the camaraderie of the big porch and all our group being there for that weekend. And then you get up the next morning, everybody has a good family breakfast together, and then you head out to the show. So I really appreciate that. And if you could, Alex, just at the very beginning, can you just tell us a little bit about the Station Inn and what makes it so special?
You got it. So the Station Inn was built in 1866 as the Callan House. It was a hotel for weary railroad travelers that were on the probably very slow Pennsylvania Railroad back in 1866. So it remained a hotel off and on through the Depression. I'm not really sure what happened after the Depression, but it seems that it was subdivided into apartments. And then Dr. Tom Davis bought it in 1993 with the intention to make it into a railfan bed and breakfast. And so those of us who were around back then will remember Tom's very lively ads in Rail Pace News magazine every month back in the 90s. And so those ads beckoned many of us up to the Allegheny Mountains, where my first year there myself was 1994. I was a high school senior, and I was the nerdy kid with the notebook that was writing down every single train and stayed up all night on that porch, writing down every single train. I don't think I slept at all. And to this day, sitting on that porch at too late at night or too early in the morning and hearing that sound of an eastbound just working its way up the mountain, it's as exciting now as it was, that's 32 years ago, 31. So I guess part of what makes it magical is it's on the top of the mountain. It's a 3-track busy freight main line. It's one of the few places that still retains a fair amount of its character from over the years. Granted, the signals are gone and the Cresson engine terminal was closed several years ago, but it's one of the last manned helper districts anywhere in the United States. And that's still going on. So there's nonstop rail action. The building itself is big and old. I think it's about 12,000 square feet. We had to figure that out recently. When Tom started it, it had, I think, 2, maybe 3 bedrooms. And now we're up to 10 rooms and can hold about 35 people.
Wow.
Yeah. So for those that knew Tom, he was a very intellectual, intelligent, very dry humor, very funny. He liked to play pranks. Very witty, lots of clever signs around the building. So, he was a bit of a quirky sort. So am I. That part works out well. And so, over the years, I got to be friends with Tom and did his website for many years. And my wife got to know him, and we actually had our wedding reception there in 2010. I think it's the only wedding reception ever held, at least in modern history, at that location. Anyway, Tom was up in age and had fallen ill and ultimately passed away in 2021. And so my wife and I were able to work out purchasing it from the family. And it was pretty interesting. I remember guests checked out and then all the paperwork was signed and then our guests checked in. So it didn't close for a night. We were able to just keep on going. And so ever since then, we have worked to freshen the place up, modernize a little bit, but still keep the same quirky, funky, slightly railroad museum-esque spirit that the building has.
And
Yeah,
Alex,
that's. Oh, sorry, Pat. Go ahead.
that's good. Yeah.
You want me to go ahead?
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I appreciate that you've done, because I started going there at about the same time. I was a subscriber back in the 90s to the Rail Pace magazine and saw Tom's ad and just had to go. So it was probably about 94 when I started going there as well. And you guys have done just, I think, a fantastic job of modernizing it enough, just the right amount, without ruining or changing the overall character of the place, which is just one of the things that I think people who are long timers there just would miss if that was changed significantly. And at the same time, you've made some very important improvements, which I'm sure we'll get into. So I just wanted to say, how much I enjoyed my recent stay there and enjoyed hanging out with you and everybody else that was there. It was a fun time. So yeah, thank you for all the work you've done. And it was worrying to a lot of us, when Tom, first of all, it was sad when Tom passed away, but we didn't know a whole lot about what was going to happen. But the way that you guys just took over and seamlessly, like you mentioned, never missed a beat. I mean, it went, changed hands, and you guys hit the ground running, and just an outstanding job. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, we really appreciate it. This whole thing was my wife's idea. I think I was too nervous about approaching Tom, having been friends with him for so long. It almost felt too personal to bring it up. But my wife found a very delicate and deliberate way to write him a letter, essentially. And so as everything kind of unfolded, Tom's family found the letter, and that's sort of how the rest of it happened. So, I'll get a lot of guys who will say, "Oh, your wife must put up with this," or, kind of assuming this is a rail fan boondoggle. But no, it was my wife's idea, and she puts in quite a bit of her own time and energy into making it a success.
Yeah, that was the other cool thing for me personally. I knew that Tom's brother played a role in that, and I was able to meet and talk to him for the first time ever at the weekend, or the week, 4 days, I guess it was. But yeah, it was really cool to meet him, and just everything about it was great. Loved every minute of it.
Excellent. Yeah, Joe Davis is a wonderful guy. My wife and I got to know the Joe Davis family quite well starting in 2021, and we've sort of adopted each other almost like family, actually. Like we go out to visit them every summer. We see them when they come east, and it's a good time.
Very good.
So, Alex, a lot of people think you might have to be a large group to go because the way the station is set up and everything with the rail fan. Like when Brad and I go, it's always like a bunkhouse mentality with the three of us staying in one room. But you've done some remodeling, and some families can come now, or couples can come to the station, and it doesn't have to be a large group. Can you tell us a little bit about how you can book a room or take advantage of that? Okay.
Great. Yeah, thank you. So that's a good question. So first of all, our website is pretty cool. I say that because I built it myself. It's stationinpa.com. So station, STATIONINNPA.com. And you can book online. You can see which rooms are available. You can pick your own room, and you can pay with credit card. Those are all things that Tom didn't want to bother with. It's sort of a different circumstance for us, and we want to make it convenient. We want to make it easy for people to take a look around. And so in terms of the rooms, you're right. There are rooms that hold just two people. We have a couple of rooms that have two twin beds. We have one that is just a queen bed, and that room has air conditioning. That's one of our new rooms, and so that one is available. And then there's another new room with three twins that also has air conditioning, and all those rooms I described are on the first floor. We rent the upstairs, the PRR room, the Baltimore and Ohio room. Those typically hold three people, but we see plenty of people rent. The B&O has a queen, so we see couples rent that one as well. They just put their laundry in the other room or something like that. So you definitely don't need to be a group. At the same time, we love groups, and we'll make all kinds of arrangements to help groups have a successful time, usually a weekend, but we do have a few groups that book for up to a week. So that's fun for us. We like to see those groups get together, just like the one this past weekend.
Yeah, and I do have to say the way you had set up for making payment, it could not have been any easier. I did not even have to. We actually did it, guys, on the front porch while we were watching trains. I didn't even have to take my eye off the main line in order to give the payment to Alex. So yeah, that was outstanding. It's also I have to give a shout out to your staff there, Alex. Those the girls just did a great job with preparing everything for us, and they were always right there. If your coffee cup was empty, they were right there asking if you needed a refill, and it was neat how you have QR codes to set up there to leave tips for the wait staff, because they are very attentive, professional, and just made the experience that much better. The great job that they did. So just all around outstanding.
Thank you. That means a lot. Yeah, our team is excellent. We are really proud of them. We think that they do a great job. Michelle is our general manager, Michelle Sheehan, and she's been with the station in, I want to say, almost 15 years. Started out cleaning rooms, and now she's running the place, and she's doing a fantastic job. And then Patience and Liza are newer, and they're doing cooking. They're doing the breakfasts, and then they're also helping turn rooms and keep the place nice and clean. And everybody's friendly, everybody's professional. I think we're pretty lucky.
So Alex, there's a special aura about sitting on the porch, having some cookies, or a lot of cookies in my case, and drinking coffee in the morning and watching the trains. But you can also use the station as like a base for everything that's around there to railfan. Can you tell us a little bit about where people might go to railfan as they're leaving the station in within the next, I guess it would be within the next 20 miles around the station in?
Oh, there's a ton. And so I would give it sort of three quick categories. You've got mainline, places you want to just sit and watch trains come to you. Second category, sort of interesting local, maybe more off the beaten path, short lines. And the third is the more railroad touristy sort of thing. So I'll go in backwards order though. Railroad touristy, you have to go to Horseshoe Curve. You have to go to the Altoona Railroaders Museum. You have to ride the Everett Railroad. All of those are within 20 minutes of the inn. Of course, you've got the Johnstown Flood Museum. There's actually two of them. They're both worth checking out. Lots of those kind of local tourist sorts of attractions within 20 minutes in either direction. And they're a lot of fun to see. Right nearby in Gallitzin, of course, you have the Gallitzin Tunnels, which is both a railfan destination and sort of a touristy spot. And then there's the Allegheny Portage Railroad, which is the stupid way in which they tried to move freight across the mountain with canal boats going up an inclined plane, which didn't really work out. So in the railroad, sort of more strict railfan side of things, mainline action, Cresson has a couple of good spots. Lily is well known, but not quite as cool, with the signal bridge having been removed a few years ago, although there is a nice overpass to take pictures from. Then you have, going west, the world-famous Cassandra Railfan Overlook, which had their all-nighter last weekend as well. And that's just a famous photo location, neat views in both angles. And then going from there, you've got Summerhill, Portage, you have South Fork, Mineral Point, and it just goes on and on. Railfan spots all the way out through Johnstown. And going east from Cresson, of course, you've just got a hotbed between Cresson, Gallitzin at the tunnels, multiple locations with the two tunnels on two sides of town. If you're up for a hike, you can go down the east side of the tunnels, down toward Bennington. And then, of course, you've got Horseshoe Curve and Altoona, and there's quite a few railfan spots around there. And if you're interested in continuing east from there, Tyrone is a pretty cool place too. Then finally, in the short line realm, RJ Corman runs north to Clearfield, and they connect into Norfolk Southern right across the street from us at the station inn. So a couple times a week, you'll see typically corn trains interchanged, and every once in a while, those will have RJ Corman's shiny red locomotives, which is fun for everybody. That's one of my favorite things to catch in Cresson. So I know there's other area bed and breakfasts, but they don't have three main tracks and a short line interchange. Just have to point that out.
Yeah,
So,
that's the thing. It's a neat building, but it's also at, I think, just about the perfect location, because it's not right at the very tip top of the mountain, but it's a couple miles away
Right.
from from where the crest of where they conquer the Alleghenies. So you get trains just as they're coming over the top, and the sheer volume is it's hard to beat, really. I don't know if there's a busier main line anywhere east of the Mississippi. There might not even be west of the Mississippi, but
there are busier places, but they're not near as nice, and they don't have pizza places right there and porches to sit on.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you still do, but they also don't have Sid.
Sid's retired, I heard, right?
Yep. Sid is now traveling the country. So Sid is the station in dog. So quick story there, right? When we took over, we were not sure what we were going to do as far as who would actually take care of the place. And my wife's Aunt Pat said, hell, I'll do it. And so she moved up from, I think she was in North Carolina, and set up shop in Cresson, and she helped us get the place going and did that for almost 3 years. And so,
oh, wow.
Within a few months, she said, I think I'd like to get a dog. Can I get a dog? And I was so nervous about this. Like, God, the wrong dog and guests just set potential for bad chemistry. And I found out later that she drove to Tennessee to pick up a dog she never met. And so that he would be perfect. And well, he was like, everybody loves Sid. Sid is awesome. Yeah. And so Pat and Sid were always together, and Sid would greet everybody. And so, that a lot of people are asking about that. Pat had planned to do about 3 years, and so that's what we did. And she was able to get a camper trailer. And so she and Sid have been going all around the country and working on projects and seeing the sites. So they're having a good time. Then. Yeah.
So, we might not get to see him, but he's having a good old time. Yeah, it was pleasant to wake up in the morning. I was right off the dining hall there, so it was really awesome every morning to wake up and have him come walking over and just sit down very politely right outside the door, to say good morning. I have 2 dogs myself, so that was a pleasant way to start the morning each time.
He actually turned me, I have to admit. I grew up with cats, and the whole dog thing was like not foreign, but not super familiar. And there were quite a few times where I was the de facto dog sitter, sometimes at my house, sometimes up at the station inn. And I got rather used to it. Although I still don't like having to chase after them to, walk them and clean up after them and all that. Cats are a little easier in that regard.
So, Alex, if you could tell us anything in the future for the station inn, and what do you see for it?
Okay, so I guess the first thing worth mentioning is that there are 2 new rooms that did just open. So we're now up to 10 rooms. We renovated and converted what was Tom's residence area. His bedroom and the family room are now the New Haven room and Pittsburgh and Lake Erie room, respectively. Both of those rooms have air conditioning. And then the living room we refreshed. There's a big TV back there, a couple of sofa beds, places to sit and hang out. And we've been getting rave reviews about that. So now there's sort of this whole extra area where people can congregate. So, you have that area, you have the common room where people eat breakfast. And then, of course, the other thing is the bar and restaurant, which we fixed up in 2021 in the kind of public area, the dining room and the bar area. And we've used that for groups like the N Scale weekend. It's a great space. People love it. I love it. It's my happy place to sit at that bar. The bar itself was first put in 1905, and a lot of it is original to 1905, so it's really cool. But we are in the process of getting the liquor license and a restaurant license and buying the restaurant equipment needed to open it up to the public as a functioning bar and snacks type restaurant. So we could be open by the end of 2025.
Oh, excellent.
That's awesome. I have to tell you, as many times, and I don't even know how many times I had been out there back in the 90s, I had never been down in that bar area until this past week. And it is just gorgeous down there and just a awesome place to hang out with a bunch of friends. So kudos once again, Alex, to the work that went into that, because it definitely is just another important enhancement to what is already a great experience.
Well, thank you. Yeah, Tom had the bar renovated in 95-ish. So the bar side is more or less as it was when Tom redid it. The lounge side, what we call the lounge, the dining room, was a paneling, dingy dump of a space that had drop ceiling, and that was okay for the way the bar was back then, but we decided we needed it to be more of a mellow experience. And so Tom's era, it was known as the Yard Office Saloon. We're calling it the Yard Office Lounge to let people know not to get too crazy because people are trying to sleep right upstairs. So, when we renovated that space, we took out the drop ceiling. We found that there was still tin ceiling up there. We opened up 2 windows that were covered over. It's a really cool space. It's bright, lots of places to hang out. It's a lot of fun.
And there's a lot of space down there. It's a bigger area than what I was expecting that's available down there for people to hang out. So yeah, it is very cool.
Yeah, I'd say you can fit about 40, 45 people easily
Oh, wow.
in the basement.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Now, I'll throw out my pipe dream plans too. So there's no timelines, no promises, unless a money tree hits me in the head. I'd say the next thing I'd like to do, if the restaurant doesn't bankrupt us, there's a little back room in the basement past the lounge that I would eventually like to turn into a small cigar room.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
I have my
yeah.
priorities straight. So the first thing I bought when I found it on eBay was a PRR Keystone emblazoned Pullman ashtray stand.
Oh,
So I have that already.
Nice.
That
I just
is
need everything
awesome.
else.
He's
I'll
gonna build
look for other stairs and some wainscoting and a rabbit air system to try not to make it too stinky for everybody else. And so yes, I got ideas there.
build
The
a
other
whole room around the ashtray, right?
exactly. The other thing is that the inn property includes a side yard that's pretty large, and so right now we have a fire pit and some chairs, and you can do that out there, which is a lot of fun. We did that this past weekend, but eventually I would like to put an extended vision caboose back there and have it all set up with utilities so that you can rent the caboose. The thought behind an extended vision caboose is that they were built in the 70s, and so it's not a rust bucket, but also the larger cupola lends itself to having 2 kids sleep up there. And then you can fit a queen bed in the lower area and actually have a family, stay in the caboose. And so eventually, if we can pull all that off, I have some concepts for landscaping that would also have a stage area that we could actually have bands play with the caboose behind them and people sitting in the grass and on like pavers and stuff like that. So lots of ideas. It will definitely keep us engaged and not bored for many years to come.
I think that would be a great place for Kevin to stay, Pat, when we go.
Yeah, the caboose. Yeah.
Yeah. Put Kevin out in the caboose. Yeah.
Well, we all have those friends that snore really loudly, or they snore out the other end really loudly. If you catch my drift.
Oh yeah, there were quite a few of them there this past week.
Yeah. So you send them to the caboose.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how I come up there when the cigar bar is now open and tell my wife, well, I'm extended stay, I'll be back in a month. But hey, Alex, if you can, one more time, can you tell us how you can get a hold of you, or how do we make a reservation for the Station Inn?
So the first thing is you can just Google it, Station Inn Cresson or Station Inn PA. Google will let you see our availability and pricing right there. But we recommend you go to our website, stationinpa.com, and you can click on rooms, or you can click on book now, and you can we've got great professional photos of all the rooms. You can see what everything looks like. Way more information than anybody ever bothers to read, but the information is there. We've got information on places to go, things to do, pictures of the staff, you name it. There's a lot of information on our website. So that's what we recommend. You can, of course, give us a call, too, at 814-886-4757.
That's awesome.
I think it bears mentioning, too, talking about booking rooms, the rates are extremely reasonable for such a great destination and great location. So that's another great thing about the inn. It's not going to completely break your wallet. The what you pay to stay there is I feel more than reasonable, and that's another great feature of the place.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. We always wrestle with that. Food prices have gone up a lot since we took over. It takes a lot to run a building of that size, and we know that there are people, some of our older guests on fixed incomes and whatnot, and we don't want to turn people away, but at the same time, it can't lose money, at least not too much money. So That's great feedback. I'll say too that I sort of try to base it off of what Hampton Inn might charge, but you're getting a nicer breakfast.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Not to pick on Hampton, but
Yes, the breakfasts were outstanding, no doubt.
Yeah. Well, Alex, we want to say thank you so much, and I hope you're looking forward to our gang heading up there in September. And I know we're looking forward to it. If you can just get us off the porch to the N Scale weekend, this is going to be the hard part. So thank you. Thank you so much. Kevin, thanks for co-hosting our big event, our 2-part series on Altoona. We really appreciate you, Kevin. Brad, as always, thank you so much. And we'll be back right after this.
And welcome back, everybody. We had a very interesting show here this evening, and Pat and I are just here now to quickly wrap up, give our final thoughts, and just a few other things. So the one interesting aspect of the recently concluded trip that I was lucky enough to be able to take to the station in Cresson. I was there with Dave Abelees and a bunch of his friends from from all over the country, really. A bunch of long timers. This was my first time there with that group. But the cool thing was that Pat, who was not staying there, for the entire weekend, and our friend Todd Treaser were both able to make it. Pat was able to make it there for one day to spend on the porch with us at Cresson, and Todd and his wife Becky were there for 2 days. And it was pretty amazing because this part of it was unplanned, but we just got bombarded with heritage units, the Norfolk Southern heritage units. The first couple of days we were there, we saw the PRR unit. That was my favorite. I believe a Wabash unit went through. A Lehigh Valley went through. The Southern Heritage unit went through. And I'm sure I'm missing one. But it was really cool to get to see all those. And Pat, you were there for just the one day, but what did you get to see while you were there?
Yeah, Brad, I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm so glad you're able to post all these pictures, the Lehigh Valley, the Wabash. I got to see a trash train. Trash train and some coal hoppers. That's all I got to see.
It's just the luck of the draw, isn't it?
I had no words. I could not believe the luck and the time frame that you saw almost the whole fleet of heritage units, and I didn't see a one. But I still enjoy the Station Inn. It's one of the greatest places on the East Coast to visit, especially when you get a group of friends. And we'll be there here on the 20th and 21st of September, and I can't wait to get up there. And hopefully, I'll get to see a heritage.
I hope so too. I really do. I did feel bad about posting those.
I'm sure you did
after you had left, but yeah,
especially the Lehigh Valley one. Yeah, I'm sure you felt bad about that.
Well, in my defense, I didn't actually see that one.
That's right.
That was I posted a thing caught by someone else who happened to be attending the all-nighter at the Cassandra Railroad Lookout. But I figured you would want to see the Lehigh Valley unit, so I shared that one as well.
Absolutely.
And then there was even the John Deere train that I know you love to see, the train carrying John Deere tractors on flat cars. So I was able to catch that right from the room, the PRR room, where Pat, you and I will be staying again here in the not too distant future when we're at the Altoona N Scale weekend. So it was just great to have a preview show of that, and it was awesome to have Alex Lang, who's the co-owner, proprietor of the Station Inn, where we'll be spending our evenings. And we had Tim Mallon here, who is the one of the main organizers of the entire Altoona, the entire Mike Phillips Altoona N Scale weekend. So looking forward to that, and I hope our listeners enjoy our little preview of what's to come here.
And Brad, if anybody wants to get a hold of us about the weekend, they can direct message Kevin, yourself, or me on our Facebook page, the Iron City N Scale Facebook page, or they can do us direct from our names and talk to us. Be more than happy to answer questions. We've had several people post, as Kevin said at the beginning of the show, about, hey, what do you do if you go up there? Is it worth a day? Is it worth 2 days? I'm telling you, it's worth the weekend. I've had nothing but fun and excitement every time I go, like a kid in a candy store, because it's all in scale. And if you're living in parts of the country where you have trouble getting in scale, it's worth the drive to come down and take a look. Brad, also, I want to tell everybody how they can get a hold of us or listen to our podcast. Right now, we are on Apple, we're on YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Player FM, Listen Notes, Podchaser, and Boomplay. So wherever you get your podcast, we are there, and we appreciate you listening. And I'll pass it back over to Brad for the final thoughts for the night.
Yeah, final thoughts are just thanks so much to Alex and Tim for joining us and for telling their part in what's going to be an outstanding weekend. And most of all, thank you once again so much to all of our listeners for continuing to download and listen to us, provide feedback to us, provide material on the Facebook page for our Roundhouse Report. We just had 3 of those at the beginning of this show tonight, so that stuff is always helpful as well. So thank you very much to our listeners, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Iron City Roundhouse Report. All right, rail fans, that's all the steam we've got for this edition of the Iron City Roundhouse Report. Until next time, keep those gauges green, your couplers connected, and may your layouts always run smoothly. Happy railroading.